Did you forget the button?
What up? What
There it
up?
is.
What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network, and I'm here with my boy Fishing Frank. What's up, Frank? How you
What's
doing,
up,
man?
peoples? Doing good, doing good.
We're here,
Happy
man.
Wednesday. We're almost through the season. Wow, playoffs are upon us. It's getting crazy.
It's crazy, man. 2 more weeks left, and then we're gonna be wishing you were playing. Maybe you made it in some leagues, but for some people, there's only 2 more weeks left, man. You're trying to play spoiler. Um, you know, try to block people from getting in the playoffs. Neanderthal balls is doing a good job of that. For
Yeah,
me,
he,
I
he
might
finally
miss
got
the
out of last
playoffs with
place.
most points. Yeah, got him out of last place. That last place punishment. So guys are trying to make moves, man. So we're here to help you get through it. Only two teams on a bye this week. You got the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers sitting there. Not too many fantasy relevant guys, but of course Kyler, D Hop, Rondell Moore, Hollywood Brown came back last week. You got James Conner. More so on the Arizona side than the Carolina side, but Donta Foreman has been doing pretty well. DJ Moore had a good game last week. So we're kind of itching to see a little more out of that. So it's here, man. Week 13. At least we have an extra week, man. So normally
Exactly. Right.
playoffs would be starting next week, so it's nice to at least have 2 more weeks to go, man. Adding that 17th game a year, so
And
still
the
still getting used
late
to it.
late almost in playoff by NATO. Well, in this case,
Yeah,
it's not so bad. I mean, because the teas are on there, it's not terrible. But it could be worse. You know what I mean? That's like not a good time. I don't know who decided that, but hey, it's
yeah,
football. We got to play with it.
yeah. Well, they'll figure it out, right? And just like you mentioned, it 6 teams on a bye week next week. Week 14, that's going to be Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, Indianapolis, New Orleans, and the Washington Commanders. So a lot of guys going to be on bye next week. When people need wins, it may have a guy, even if it's just a depth piece, sometimes you just lose by a point or two, and that could be the difference. So we got the irrelevant franchise in here saying yo, yo, yo. What up, Tony? How's it going? That's stranded on second with Tony Clark for those who remember with the name change on here on YouTube. So appreciate you checking us out. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. We'll get to it. Whether it's we'll take any questions, man. There's trade deadlines coming up. Just anything that you're trying to do to get your roster right. If you have questions about defenses to pick up, players to pick up, whatever it is, let us know, and we'll get to it, man. So before we get to that, I do of course want to have you guys check out our sponsor, underdogfantasy.com, up here in the corner, as you guys see. It's an awesome best ball platform.
Yes,
They
it
also
is.
have the pick'ems, over under, rivalry picks. Who's going to score the most TDs. Who's going to get the most all-purpose yards. You're choosing between two different guys. You can pick your parlays, win up to 20 times your money. So when you do, again, underdogfantasy.com, use that promo code GetRight, because when you do, they will match you up to 100% up to $100. So again, use that promo code GetRight, and you'll be able to come play. Challenge us to one of the games in there, and we'll get on a card with you. So it's a
Right?
lot of fun. Absolutely, man.
We did
Send them
hella
my way.
best balls early in.
I have 74 best ball teams through Underdog Fantasy,
just,
man.
just,
So
just to let y'all know, right?
yeah, so it's a lot of fun, man. Once you start getting going on it, it's a lot of fun. So hey, man, I have a chance to win like 50,000, 2.1 or 2 million, 1 million.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
the
you,
puppies, right? The
yeah, you
million
got
puppy
those
and this,
puppies,
that.
the
Yeah.
Pomeranians, you got all their stuff in there, man. So it's a lot of good stuff there, especially with how much we draft in the off season. Underdog's a lot of fun, man. So again, come join us and check us out. Anyway, that's probably the longest promo in the world. Let's talk some football, man. Um, so I figure we can start with tomorrow night's game. We'll do a little Thursday night preview, little start sit. Um, we got Buffalo 8-3 coming to the New England Patriots, who are 6-5. You have Buffalo coming in at 3.5 point favorites. Of course, home team usually gets the three, so really it's kind of like they're expecting about a touchdown, difference between the two. So going to be an interesting game. As far as the Buffalo side, Josh Allen is off the injury report, but we all know he's dealing with that elbow still. But I guess technically he has no designation coming into the game. The only Buffalo player that's technically kind of ruled out is more so that's important on the defensive side, Von Miller. He avoided a serious, ACL tear or anything like that, but does have a MCL issue and is going to be out for a while. I believe they're putting him on IR. But on the New England side, you have Damian Harris dealing with that thigh issue. He's been ruled out. And then Jacoby Myers had that shoulder injury against Minnesota last week. He's listed as questionable, but said he's going to play. What
Well,
are your thoughts?
that
Oh,
looks
go ahead.
good
Go ahead.
for Ramondre Stevenson, obviously, you know what I mean? Because uh, having Harris out, just gives him all the more touches, and he's been running good anyway. So, I mean, that's the one. I mean, it's a negative positive thing. Obviously, we don't want people to hurt, but I mean, being New England as it is, you don't want to have that other guy just sneaking in and vulturing some touches, and especially a touchdown. That's usually how Parcells does it over there. I think he almost does it on purpose, honestly.
Parcells? You mean Belichick?
Belichick, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was like, dang, you went old
I'm
school on
sorry,
that.
man. I was smoking, man.
He went old school on that one.
Yeah, Belichick. You know
Um,
who I meant, though. Belichick, yes.
yeah, I was like, wait a minute, who Parcells? They got
But
somebody
I'm
else.
also
Is it
excited to
his
see,
son?
more from Cook. You know what I mean? Like, um, hopefully James Cook can actually get somewhere over there with the Bills. I know that it's been Singletary and stuff like that, but he's been getting a little bit more touches little by little. And hopefully they start, really feeding him the ball more or getting more of a 50-50 split. And hopefully he becomes a viable starter because right now he's a flex at best. You know what I mean? So it would be nice to see him get more. But he's been coming up week after week, some a little bit, little by little. So hopefully he gets there.
Yeah, both these are tough defenses, against the run. So it's going to be hard to play really any of these running backs in this game, Singletary, Hines, or Cook. But of course, just when you say that, Singletary probably have, 15 carries for like 75 yards and two touchdowns. That's
They
usually
go
what
off,
happens.
right?
Yeah, when you're thinking something like that. But yeah, I mean, if I can avoid, Devin Singletary this week, I probably would. Um, just again, tough matchup against the run. As far as Josh Allen, obviously you're playing him. We're not dealing with that. We're playing Diggs, but the question marks come with guys like Gabe Davis and Isaiah McKenzie, who had a big game last week. I believe 96 yards. What do you think about those two, Davis and McKenzie? Are you starting or sitting those guys?
I think they're always boom or bust to me. You know what I mean? Like they'll have those games where they go in, they get the yardage, get the touchdown at least for Gabe Davis or something like that. McKenzie's uses has been going up, but it's hit and miss. It's hit and miss, man. It's game flow. It's um not necessarily a target, you know what I mean? Because Diggs is going to get his, but those two guys are, it could be either or both of them, and then Diggs doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I just
Hmm.
I think it all depends on who you have left, what you have on there. They got a very good upside, like the team, and they could, you could go for a higher, a lot higher ceiling than some other guys. So why not play him? I mean, I wouldn't, I guess this all depends on your team construction, right? But
Yeah.
I
I mean,
would
he's a
not
boomer
be
bust.
comfortable.
Yeah, he's a boomer bust wide receiver three, or flex. I think he's one of the better options there. It's a little iffy if he's your wide receiver two. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're just hoping for one of those boom games. But like you're talking about, he's only had 3 out of the 10 games he's played where he's had 7 or more targets. But again, he's still
Touchdown dependent.
but
It's
yeah, I mean
touchdown
he can
dependent.
he can score 30 points in a game. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen, what happened. He did it on the biggest stage. And he's had multi-touchdown games so far, back in week 5 against Pittsburgh for 171 yards. Remember that with the 98-yard touchdown,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
that was. It was crazy. But other than that, he can either get you, about 90 yards or he's getting you like 40. So it's
Yeah, he's
tough.
averaging like
But
3.5. I'm looking at there's like 2, 3 weeks where he 3.8, 3.5, 3.3, and then he got a couple 15s and 13s in there, you know what I mean? But it's like literally he's either getting you 3 points or double digit points, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's averaging only 9.5 fantasy points per game. But either way, he's a player. He's part of an offense with a quarterback that can do it. So again,
Yes,
it's hard to get away from him, and it's also hard to get away from him because we're giving away his jersey, man. Signed Gabe
that's what I'm
Davis
saying.
jersey. Yeah, so make sure you hit
We're
that
saying
subscribe button
almost
if you're
600.
watching. Yep, let's go. We're there, or we're almost there. Only a few away, a handful away. We keep getting one, losing one here and there, but we're chugging along.
Teeter
There's
tottering.
a yeah, there's another picture of it there. So again, tell your friends about it. Let them know about us. Come join the community. And again, we'll get you in a raffle to get that Gabe Davis jersey. So
What's up,
yeah,
Robert?
so
What's up?
we talked about that. Mac Jones, we're probably sitting. I don't really have him ranked, in my top 12. Again, I expect big things from Stevenson. I have him in my top 12. Actually, I have him six this week. Even against the Buffalo defense, just because of his, potential. I might have to tweak that around a little bit, but
Like
I'm
another
looking
answer.
at guys like Eckler, Chubb, Jacobs, Henry. I might have Taylor a little high here. Um, McCaffrey's back a little bit just because of that knee. Saquon's hasn't been doing much. There's not really too many other guys. You're talking ETN, Walker, McCaffrey. That is just going to get that workload. Like they'll run it 25 times. Like Belichick will do that. So
Well, Miami guys are
I
getting
think he's
really good
safe.
workload over there, but like it's kind of a split backfield as well over there.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll move on to the New England receivers. Again, Jacoby Myers is coming in questionable, and then we have Devontae Parker. You like either of these guys? Nelson Aguilar's had a game here and there. What are you
Mm,
thinking?
I like
What's up,
these guys
Albert?
less than the Bills guys.
Okay,
Honestly, uh, you know, yeah, Jacoby Myers would be the start, but if he's not starting, I wouldn't feel comfortable with the rest of the guys.
okay. And then as far as your tight ends go, you have Hunter Henry,
Hunter,
who
yeah.
almost had a two-touchdown game. Had that one called back. I mean, that was like a Dez catch, man. That was a touchdown.
I
But
honestly have more faith in him than the other wide receivers.
Okay, and then Dawson Knox, obviously on the Bills side, who's like a boomer bust tight end, which is pretty
Yes,
much like every other
same
tight
thing.
end
Yeah,
as well.
it's literally every other tight end in the league except for who Kelsey and well, even Andrews is hurt right now. So used to be
Yeah,
Kelsey and Andrews. Other than those two guys, it's like boomer bust with the rest of them, and that even includes Whittle. Or the 49ers guy Kittle. Oh, I said Whittle, Kittle, but he did have a good last game though. Hunter Henry did end up with 12 fantasy points, 3 of 5 targets, 63 yards, and a touchdown there. So he ended up giving you 12 points. But I mean, and then you go two twos and fives. It's just sporadic as to when he actually gets the touchdown dependent, just like most of them.
yeah,
You gotta roll with what you got though. If that's the guy you got, you gotta roll it out, man. I
yeah.
wasn't a big fan
So
of zero
that's it.
last week.
We'll wrap that game up there. We'll get to Tony's question here. He says the running back Jonathan Knight for the Jets. He's going to be playing the most of the snaps this weekend. Any thoughts on him? So yeah, they're still calling Michael Carter's injury a little day to day. You know, we'll see. Robert Salas said it's a low ankle, and we're going to give it a try for this week. It'll be more day to day. So that's what that's what he's saying. So there could be a chance it's more of like a split. But there's been the talks where they kind of wanted to see where he's at anyway. That's why they benched James Robinson. Also having to do with the draft pick and just all this other drama that's going on with it. Um, I think he's worth definitely grabbing and stashing. If you're really in a bind and you're hurt, like let's say Frank, you had Michael Carter and Knight, and they say Carter's going to give it a go, and you could start your choices between one or the other. Who you playing, Knight or Carter?
Uh, I would probably still play Carter if he's starting. If he doesn't start, then definitely Knight. I
Well, the
wouldn't
thing
be
is, he may start, but is he going to get the important
the
touches?
full
And is he going
workload
to
and all that.
finish? Yeah, like is he going
Yeah.
to finish? Like he may start, but
Then
is he going to
honestly, I
finish?
feel comfortable with Knight because I mean he needed to put up 100 yards when he got thrown in there. So he did well with what the opportunity he took. He took it and ran with it, as they say, right? So I mean,
Right.
well, I would not. feel uncomfortable rolling with them again since he's already proven that he could do it.
Well, there you go.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, if this is where you're at in your team, roll with it. You know what I mean? Like, the dude already did get the 100. Why not?
Yeah,
Don't get any.
I
It's
usually
not
kind of
getting it.
side on the guy. I usually side on the guy that's actually healthy. Um, and again, just it's something you're going to have to continue to follow. The news, and we'll probably have a better idea. Come Friday, and more importantly, come Sunday. Classic Mike will be here Sunday morning, and I'm sure we'll definitely have a better idea. But that's one that's going to be taken kind of right up to the wire. So yeah. So again, you guys got any questions, anything like that? Drop them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll just kind of get to some of the news and notes and some of the topics in the league. We'll chat about that. We'll get to the questions, and then we'll call it a night and get to our start sit on Friday. So first things first, let's talk about the elephant in the room, man. Deshaun Watson, after over 700 days of not playing football, has finally completed his suspension. He will start this week against, of course, Houston. Couldn't have wrote
What
it
a
any
cakewalk,
better.
right?
Yeah, I couldn't have wrote it
Wow.
any better.
And of
So you
course,
got
yeah. I mean, think the NFL after they put the schedule out, they were like, okay, let's line this up. You know what I mean?
hmm So yeah, so what are your thoughts on that, man?
Um, I think it's obviously Houston is doing terrible, and it's like the return to the team type thing and all that. And it's really a good soft pitch up to Deshaun to get his feet wet, get knock some of that rust off, not have to worry about really losing the game really because I mean he could haphazardly walk over Houston. So it's I would start him. I mean you got to start him right from the get go. If you
Mm.
waited this long or you picked him up, you got as we were talking last week. This guy is literally one of the top three, to top four, quarterbacks in the league. Period. And as far as fantasy points is concerned, so you definitely got to roll with him, start him. And I mean, this is the whole reason we were waiting this long for it, anyways, right?
Not me. I mean, you've gotten this far. I mean, if I mean, you'd have to have some serious, situations like, okay,
If
maybe you're dealing with Brady or Russell Wilson. Like if I
yes,
had Russell
there's a lot of
Wilson or
guys
someone
out
like
there with
that,
some terrible
like then yeah,
quarterbacks.
I'm
Are you
I'm
kidding me?
taking a
Come
chance.
on.
Yeah, I'll take a chance with Watson.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to stick to kind of what's been, getting me there. I'm not
I
starting him
would
over
start him
Burrow.
over
I'm not starting
Brady.
him over Dak. I'm not starting him over, you know, Lamar, even with
No,
his
you're not gonna start him
struggles.
over Lamar, but if somebody who is the Lamar owner, you wouldn't be going after him anyways.
You'd be surprised. People, I
Well,
mean,
I guess people do stupid shit. Like
well,
I
that's
don't
not
like creating
stupid.
my.
I mean, you're talking. Well,
Eh,
you just said it. He's a top three quarterback. He could be
well,
right up there with
here's
Josh
also
Allen and
the way I'm
Mahomes.
looking. If I have Lamar, I'm not rolling in somebody else besides Lamar. Like
Yeah,
I
at
stick
this
to my
point.
guy, my starter, and that's it. Would I have him like on the bench because it already like trades are almost pretty much dead for most majority of teams. I'm sure there's still some out there they're still trading or whatever, but let's say most everybody's trade deadline's done, then you're he's just riding the pine on your team, right? Unless Lamar goes down. Um, I just don't like putting myself in a situation where you have to try to pick who do I start this week, and then you're picking the wrong guy every week. And it's the
Yeah,
matchup and this and that. And next you know, it's like some crazy game, and the guy just goes off, and of course you have the other one up or whatever, right? Like I just don't
yeah,
like doing that to myself. Why would you? That's what I mean by putting yourself in that position. Is why you
yeah,
have to put yourself through those kind of decisions as who to start that week. If you have a good starter, you're not messing with Deshaun. You know what I mean? Like you have a Josh Allen, you're not looking at Deshaun, bro. Like you got other things to worry about on your
yeah.
team.
Josh
I think
Allen, but someone like
I'm
Lamar is
saying,
actually questionable. So check it out in a 6 point per passing touchdown league since week 3, which he went off for almost 50 points. Week 2 and week 3. Since
uh,
then, starting in week 4, he's only scored over 20 points. Correction, he's only scored over 19 points. Yeah, over 20 points 2 times in the last 8 weeks. Other than that, he's been scoring you in the teens between 10 and 16, points.
yeah, he's
Is all
averaging
he's
like
been
15,
scoring.
16
So,
points right there.
do you think Deshaun can come out and score at least 20 out of the gate? I mean, the Lamar owners were pretty happy with that 25 he put up last week, and that was scary. And I think uh almost didn't have it. Mark Andrews dropped a touchdown, would be touchdown. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened in that game, to where he, barely squeezed out that 254 and a touchdown. So, you know, it's a serious question, and he's going up against this Denver defense this week as well too. So, I don't think it's that far out of a question when you really look at the numbers. You take the name off the
Yeah,
jersey, right?
I suppose, but I don't know. I'm just like one of those guys that starts your starters, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I had to walk away from Lamar, I would have already done it. Like, I would have already picked somebody else up that I'm riding with. I did the same thing with Brady. Brady's been scoring like literally steady 20 points, but that hasn't been enough for me. And I picked up Justin Fields, and Justin Fields has been doing great up until now that he's injured. And now I had to go back to Brady, but I kept him on the bench. Um, so I think that guys like that is yeah, what I mean. Those are guys that you can interchange with, or at least swap out now and move on with a different guy. I mean, you're still got to see what he's got
Yeah. And to throw another wrench in that, Lamar Jackson limited today with a quad injury.
on top of that, right? See, that's the
So
worst
yeah,
excuse always.
yeah. All
But
right. So and so we'll leave it at that. Do what you will with it. I'm sure we'll get a lot of questions Friday and Sunday about that.
I
Um,
say
so
fire him
uh,
up, man. Just roll with it. Fire him
Either
up.
way, I'm excited just to see, off the field, things decide however you feel about him personally. As far as just the drama on the actual football field, and seeing if a guy that was literally elite at the top of his game doesn't play for 700 days, 2 years, and see if he can just come back and play football at the highest level.
I mean,
When guys
remember
are
Ricky
faster
Williams?
and stronger and smarter than ever. So
Ricky
yeah,
Williams had like a 2-year suspension. He came back and still was
yeah.
beast
I
mode.
mean, Jordan kind of did it, came back one. I mean, people have done it, so we'll
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
see. I'm not putting Lamar or Watson in the same breath as Jordan or anything, but I'm just saying it's been done.
yeah.
All right, so so we'll leave it at that. And some other quarterback news here. And I'll just kind of fire through this stuff. If you have anything you want to elaborate on, just stop me and let me know. Otherwise, we'll get through it. We got Aaron Rodgers dealing with his ribs. Said he's definitely progressing and feeling better than he thought he was going to feel on a Wednesday. LaFleur even clarified that he expects Aaron Rodgers to play this Sunday at the Bears.
They
Obviously
did.
dealing with that broken thumb and the ribs.
Yeah, they did do
Um,
some scans on that broken thumb, and apparently that's a lot better than previously thought or something or whatever. Basically, that he can go through the season with it and just get done, get it fixed after the season. So it's not like he has to stop right now, or that if he continues to play, he's going to injure himself further. It's pretty much uh, a done deal where he's okay the where he's at basically till he could get the surgery. So
right.
that's good. Yeah, I mean that's a good news because you don't want him to continue to injure himself because I mean he's your new $10 million quarterback or whatever it is that he got paid. So you got to protect your assets at this point.
Yeah. One in a fantasy sense, it's big news because obviously Watson's been catching fire lately.
Yeah,
Um, you know, it's it's definitely something to monitor. Um, but if he does say, Jordan Love didn't look really that bad. He's kind of been the talk this week, a little bit there. I don't think he's necessarily fantasy relevant, but just as far as maybe the next heir apparent, compared to the reports we were having all last year, and out of training camp, apparently he's looking good. So, um, yeah, I mean, we'll see how that all goes. All
right.
right, so moving on, we got Tua Tagovailoa. He was listed on the injury report dealing with an ankle injury, but he was a full participant in practice. So just kind of keep your eye on that. Bears signed quarterback Tim Boyle to the active roster, taking him from the Lions practice squad. Justin Fields dealing with his shoulder, as we know, was limited. And then Trevor Simeon, who almost didn't even start last game, we got that last minute report that Nathan Peterman was potentially going to
About
be
to
the
start,
starter
right? Yeah.
after he got hurt in the warmups. Got shot up, was able to get through the game, but he's dealing with that oblique, and he didn't practice today. So they're just saying Boyle's bringing in some depth. So obviously there's some question marks there. They only got one healthy quarterback to just even get through practice. So obviously,
Yeah, and you need at
it's a
least a
depth
backup
signing.
because your starter goes down in the game. What are you going to do then? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
need
So you
somebody to throw in there.
got to have somebody there. I think David
Yeah.
Montgomery was the backup quarterback if Simeon couldn't go. and all they had was Peterman. David Montgomery was going to be the backup quarterback.
You'll end up like Denver starting that guy that started in high school, and now he's a wide
Oh
receiver
yeah,
or
Kendall
or
Hinton,
whatever.
man,
Yeah, that's crazy. He gets thrown in
that's
there. Poor
crazy.
guy. He's like, I
Yeah,
haven't played. Now I got to throw in there in pro. Come on now.
on practice, yeah, in the
Hand off
NFL
the
game.
ball. Hand off the ball. Hand off the ball.
This is crazy. So you got news from Jeff Saturday, interim coach with the Colts.
I like
Um, uh,
that guy, by the way.
yeah, he's been doing pretty well.
Yeah,
Um,
I like he's like on the sideline. He's all excited. You can tell
just
he's a
has some
player's coach.
swagger.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
remember him playing, so he's doing his thing.
for sure. And speaking of playing, I mean, he used to be a big old lineman. Now he's all
Yeah,
like thin and everything like that. It's
it
just
doesn't
crazy
look as
just
big
seeing
as he used
something.
to.
Yeah.
Somehow, right? I was thinking
Oh
the
yeah. Well,
same
when those
thing
guys
too.
are in the NFL, man, you hear it. Those linemen, they say they got to eat so much to try to maintain those, 300-pound bodies, and then once they're done playing, they just go eat healthy and just take care of
Bro,
themselves. They don't
yeah,
want to be dealing with all that weight and stuff as they get older and knees and all that
yeah,
stuff. So you see it happen actually more now than back in the day. So once these guys retire, they're like just these regular skinny dudes.
right.
So it's kind of weird. But yeah, so obviously being asked about a quarterback change because we were talking about on Monday, Matt
Yeah,
Ryan's pretty trash
he is
after
trash.
that bad game. But Jeff Saturday doubled down. I don't know, double, triple, whatever you want to call it. He just said Matt's going to continue being the guy.
I think
So
he's just looking at he's going to go with the veteran, and he has the best chance with the veteran because he knows what he's going to get with the rookie, and it's not his position to rebuild this team or put it into that that way. He's just trying to get through the season.
yeah,
And you know what I mean? Like literally, that's
he
why I
wants to be
look
able to
at it.
call plays and have guys run the
Yeah,
correct plays and stuff.
but I
So
mean, Matt Ryan threw up 22 and then 28 points this last game. So hey,
it,
desperation, garbage time, whatever you want to call it. Hey, fantasy points are fantasy points.
it works. It works. Sean
But I
McVay
wouldn't play him
saying,
next week. He's playing Dallas. He's going to be getting sacked like crazy.
yeah, Micah, defense player of the year.
Yeah,
McVay says it's safe to say that Safford won't play this Sunday, so it'll be either Wolford or Perkins again, or Pickens or whoever that is. I think it's Perkins.
yeah,
Not going to matter.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that pretty much wraps up quarterbacks there. You got running back news. I start with my guy Christian McCaffrey on my Niners, dealing with that knee irritation, as they say. Got a DNP today. Um, just while we're on the Niners, Debo Samuel dealing with the quad. He took part in the warm-ups and stretch, but left the field before practice began. But the
I'm
reports
surprised
came back
his
saying he was
scoring
officially
wasn't
limited.
as high. Like we talked about it last week, and I started looking at his weeks and stuff like that. I was surprised he's not as high as last year. He's semi disappointing. I think. Don't you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you expected more from this guy. I think.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, getting the
mean, but
4.5 point, 4 point week. That's I'd figured 10 or more is what I would expect. Get 10 or more every week.
you would hope. But I mean, that's why I was kind of fading him on where he was going. I didn't think he was going to be doing what he did last year. I mean, he was seventh round pick last year, so
Yeah,
it is what
plenty
it
of
is.
regression. Plenty of
Yeah,
regression.
absolutely. We got Jordan Hecker in the chat here saying, "I don't think I'm going to make the playoffs. I put so much time in research and just got unlucky too much. Even though I'm uh, two half of for points scored. It's 2.5 or two. I don't know exactly what he's trying to say there, but I assume he has a lot of points, but just had some bad
Just
matchups.
losing.
That's kind of
Yeah.
how I'm sitting right now, man. I'm first in points in our home league. In our It's not big money. It's okay money league. Enough. It's enough money league, and I got most points. And I'm sitting in fifth place and may not make the playoffs. Like I got to win 2 games to make sure I get in, and
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy. So it's
And on that point, like you mentioned, you got unlucky. There's been so many injuries this year, and from running backs to wide receivers to quarterbacks this year.
and just so
Um,
many games where guys are popping off for three
yeah,
touchdown games, and just like if you go up against one of those guys like a Josh Jacobs last week, like you're lucky if you survive those games.
yeah. Then you go into the juggernaut games where the guys just
And you're just
both.
playing that guy that week.
Yeah,
I've lost to the last place guy being the highest scorer in both our money leagues, our home leagues. Lost the last place guy last week. And I lost the other last place guy, I think, the week before. So
Just take
it's been rough. It's been
taking
rough,
shots,
man.
huh?
Just run into the wrong team at the wrong time, man. Any given Sunday, as they say. We
Right.
got Big Trev in the house. What's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
How's it going? He said, "Hey guys, who do I start? Donovan Peoples-Jones or Thielen, and Kamara or Rashad? It's in full PPR. So let's start with the receivers first. Do you like DPJ or Thielen?
Donald Peoples Jones. He's been doing very well, good consistency, except for I think the last game he didn't do so good. But we were talking about
Njoku kind of came back, and
Jochu kind of came back, but Dave Watson's coming back. Deshaun's gonna be quarterbacking now, so hopefully he's just slinging the ball, right?
yeah, I mean that's the hope, right?
Yeah. So
And
go for
then
the
you got
upside.
and then you got Thielen, who came off a big game, but he was basically droppable up until like last week,
Like
and then
literally, yeah.
he kind of came out of nowhere. But he does get Detroit this week, so it kind of depends. This could be a Jay Jettas game. You never know. But to me, um, man, I mean that's a really tough question. I mean, I think I still got to go Thielen just
Really?
because again it's unknown. I don't know. Is Watson going to throw it to Njoku and Cooper? Like I mean the Cooper is still there. Um, you know, we don't know what that is, but we know Cousins will sometimes lock on to Thielen. Hawkinson's kind of dented into him a little bit, but they're playing against this Detroit defense who can't stop anybody. So I'll take my chances that he can get in the end zone a little better than DPJ. But it's very, very close.
I'm
Like
just
it's
saying,
really close.
Cleveland's playing Houston, new quarterback. Let's see, Donovan
But
Peoples Jones has scored
Houston's
8
been okay
points,
against
9
the
points,
pass.
12 points. The last game was bad against Tampa Bay, only 1.6, but I mean that was like an odd end or whatever out of there. Out of the last 10 games, really, he's been at least 5 points or more. I mean, I think you're averaging at least 9 points for this guy during that stretch. So I'd still take Donovan Peoples Jones. I'd be more comfortable with him over Thielen that has not been that consistent at all. Like you said, he was just droppable. So
Yeah, but see, the Texans are third against quarterbacks in fantasy points allowed. They've given up the third fewest points against fantasy quarterbacks. Um, against wide receivers.
how did they
Where
go?
are
How
they?
did they do against Minnesota? Did they play Minnesota?
And where are they? And they're like,
And Heckler agrees with me. He said he'd go DPJ, and he's picking Rashad. By the way, we'll have to come back to that other one, Kamara or Rashad.
yeah, see,
Out of
Texans
Tampa
are
Bay,
ninth
he
against
started.
wide receivers. They're only giving up 19 points per game compared to the Lions, who are giving up the third most points at 25.8 points per game. So I'll take Thielen.
I'm going DPJ.
As far as Kamara and
I
Rashad,
don't care about the stupid stats. They don't mean
if
shit
Lenny's
sometimes.
out, I'm going against Rashad, or I'm going with Rashad. If Lenny plays, I think I'm still going Rashad. I think he should still get the passing work, even if Lenny takes some of the first and second down
Talking
work.
full PPR, should he get enough touches? Probably.
Yeah,
Uh, I think he's earned his spot over there. But yeah, I'd go with Rashad. I should have picked him up.
yeah, and
I've
yeah,
had him at some point. I'm sure I even had him. But
Kamara's
yeah,
just kind of Kamara's tough
Kamara
right now.
hasn't been doing much. Yeah, yeah, he hasn't been done well since week 8. No double digits game since then. So I would, yeah, definitely go with Rashad. He's a hotter hand.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate the question, Big Trev. Thanks for dropping it in there. You got anything else? Let us know. Um, Jordan saying I may not start Watson this week with Dobbs back. Dubs. Yeah, so Romeo Dubs is back this week. He's jumping ahead of me here on my notes. It's like he's looking ahead, but we'll skip to that now. Romeo Dobbs practicing for the first time since injuring his ankle in Detroit almost a month ago. They designated him to return from the IR, so he is back. I think Christian Watson has solidified his role. 6 touchdowns in the last 3 games, over 240 yards, I believe, on like 10 catches. Like it's been ridiculous. Like his efficiency. The dude's fast. He's tall. Has a knack for the ball. Can get those jump balls. I mean, he has a tough matchup this week. So I understand sitting them if you do have, other options. Um, but I mean, what do you think? It's kind of hard to get away from this guy right now, man. He's
I would
he's on the
not
heater.
leave Christian Watson. It's not close, dude. Like you could tell when that Aaron Rodgers just really likes this guy. I think he had some like chemistry was building with Dobbs or whatever, Dubes or whatever you want to call him, but it's not nearly as good with Christian Watson. You could tell Christian Watson's like the deep ball threat, the action short, crossing pattern guy that Aaron Rodgers needs. Like you could see it. Like they got a good chemistry going on, and I don't think that's gonna stop.
Yeah, I like
And
it.
and
And
he
I
keeps
I do
throwing
want
them
to
even
correct
even when he
myself.
misses. He's dropped a number of balls that are like touchdown balls, literally. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean. And Aaron Rodgers still goes to them again.
Yeah.
That
And I
says
want to
something.
correct
You know what I mean?
myself. I had my wrong schedule up. I was on week 14. Oh yeah, see that's what Trev is saying here. Vikings are facing the Jets, not the Lions. So that does make actually a difference here. DPJ is playing Houston, so all of my Houston take against the quarterback and wide receivers, that's still all correct. But as far as the Jets are actually a pretty decent defense this year. They've been pretty stingy. They're actually third against wide receivers at only allowing 17.5, so they're even better than the Texans going against the Texans. So in that case, I think I'm coming around. I'll go DPJ now that I have the correct
Yeah.
matchup.
All right. Yeah.
The Lions
There we
make a
go.
big difference. I mean, you have to
I
start your
think they
guys
do, and I
against the
think they
Lions.
don't. I think you got to. That's some of it, but sometimes you got to go with the high hand. You know what I mean? Like it's not always about the stats because I've seen so many games that this team is supposed to lose, and they come back and beat the number one team or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's too many scenarios similar to that happen. You know the guys are good. You play your starters. Don't get fancy sometimes. I think we overthink with like this matchup and that matchup. I don't start looking into that. But you just roll with your team because on average this is what they're supposed to be doing, and that's why you draft them in those positions anyways, or took those guys. I don't get too fancy that way. I know you love to. I know you love to look at your kickers and
Oh
make sure
yeah,
they're in they kick in domes, they're dome kickers and fucking whoopity
absolutely.
whoop. Um, I just go with the kicker that scores a lot and roll with that guy.
Any
Roll with
given
that
Sunday,
guy.
man. Any
Yeah.
given Sunday. Any
Exactly.
given
So
Sunday.
I wanna put that in my stack.
Um, let's see. We got Blurpy here. We skipped a question. You guys think Mike Evans bounces back this year? Maybe not this week, but for fantasy playoffs, it's hard to get away from him, man. When you start kind of getting down, I mean, I think instead of being like a top 10 play every week, he's more down in that like 15 to 20 range. It's hard to find 15, 16, 17 guys that I would rather start over Mike
Over
Evans
him.
with his potential ceiling. And that's the problem. I mean, if you can name, guys that I'd rather start over Mike Evans, but I'm not quite there to start like DPJ over Mike Evans yet. I'm not there to start, um, Pickens over Mike Evans quite yet. I'm not starting Watson
Garrett
over
Wilson that's
over
over here
Evans.
in the chat.
Yeah,
He just had a good
he,
game last week,
he may start my Garrett Wilson. I'm still not starting Wilson over Evans right now. I mean, it's close. Like you want to, but I'm not relying on Mike White or Tom Brady. Like I'm gonna take the guys like that has Tom Brady thrown to him, no matter how off he's kind of been. He's still averaging the most pass attempts per game. Mike Evans is coming off 9 targets, only had 2 catches, and that's the problem. But he's a couple drop balls. Like, we know that 64-yard
Yeah,
touchdown he
you make
dropped,
those a
a couple
couple
weeks ago.
catches or a
He
touchdown in
missed
there,
two
you're
big
not
plays
feeling
that
too
he
bad
that he
about him.
could have caught this year. Yeah, I mean, we're not even having this conversation with like 4 or 5 more catches. Sometimes, it's just the way the ball bounces every once in a while. So is what it is. Jordan,
Yeah,
we're gonna get into
he's
that
just
here in just a second as
he's
well
just
too.
straight up better talent, and that's why you roll with him, you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah,
why.
and has somebody good thrown to him who understands coverages and offenses and seen everything. Like, I'll take that guy like over Mike White, who's making his like 5th career start.
Yeah.
So Jordan's asking Dalvin Cook or Montgomery. So you got Montgomery going up against that porous Packers defense, who Brian Robinson, I believe, just ran for 100 yards on. Or was it? I don't know who they played last week. Who Green Bay played last week? It was the Eagles. Oh yeah, Miles Sanders went crazy on them last week. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you got
Everybody
you
went
got
crazy
that
over there with
or
there
yeah,
wasn't Boston Scott and somebody else also involved. I forgot who was over there.
yeah, with Gainwell. I think Gainwell
Yeah,
scored
that's
a
what it was.
touchdown as well
Gainwell.
too.
Yeah,
Sanders
Gainwell was
had
good.
two.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like everybody's getting involved over there.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Sanders had a career day.
their
Um,
run defense is suspect for sure.
yeah, for sure. So you got Montgomery going again against that Swiss cheese, that cheesehead Packers D. And you
Yeah,
got Minnesota going up against this Jets defense, who we're just kind of talking about. Let's
that's gonna be
see.
a tougher game. The Jets are been for real. They won that last game, or at least been putting up decent decent efforts. You know what I mean? Like, what is the Jets defense? I'll get it up here right now.
Yeah, no, Jets are the ninth best against the run, giving up only 16.4. Hold on, that's I'm not in PPR. Let me go to PPR. Where are we at? PPR. Ooh, I got to get quicker at this.
Right now that you're looking these up.
Yeah. So they are. Oops, I got it the wrong way again. How come I can't figure this out now? Here we go. Jets. They're 11th against running backs at PPR, allowing only 21.7 points per game, whereas the Texans, who are last, are allowing 29.7. So, um, yeah. Which one you got, Cook or Montgomery? I think I take my chances with Montgomery.
Mm, I, didn't he? Wasn't he just injured?
Montgomery? Nah.
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert was injured, so it's literally his whole backfield by himself.
Oh yeah.
So I'd go Montgomery.
Montgomery then, because I mean, yeah, they are a stout defense, dude. The Jets are no joke, dude.
Yeah, and no Justin Fields taking all that rushing opportunity as well. It should all go to him. So yeah, give me Montgomery, especially if Fields is out. Frank saying Roll Watson anyway. I'm down. LOL, he's been too good, so he's agreeing with you there. Big Travis saying the only reason I'm personally leaning Thielen is because of the Vikings' pass-heavy offense. Why I believe the Browns are going to just establish the run and not need to pass. Plus sauces on JJ. So yeah,
Nah, I don't think they're going to establish the run at all. I don't think they need to anymore. They did
no,
with the.
The Browns are. I
Think
see.
so?
Yeah, there's definitely a script where maybe Watson throws for 20, 25 attempts and they just keep it on the ground and just run Houston out of the building with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb could have like 250 yards and
Yeah.
3 touchdowns. I mean, I could easily see that, but you would think they're going to want to show off their toy a little bit.
Or he's going to want to
I
show
mean,
himself off.
right. And I guess is if you're looking at it as like a game script, opportunity as well, you know, Minnesota going against the Jets, maybe that's a closer game where they actually have to pass versus just getting ahead and running it out. Um, again, going up against a little better defense. So maybe you sway me. Let me go to my actual rankings. Where do I have these guys? Thielen and who was it? Thielen and who?
Oh, Donovan Peoples Jones. It was
DPJ.
the guys, right?
That's right. Yeah.
We're still on it. I'm not letting that go.
He brings up some good points. Oh, see, and that's why I have Thielen at 37 and DPJ at 38. So there you go. It's like you're looking at my rankings when you ask me these
37,
questions.
38, right? You're like literally talking one
Yeah,
guy difference.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
because
literally back to back, but I have
yeah,
Thielen right ahead.
yeah, I would flip him by like 3. I'd have a little
That's
bit more
tough, man.
gap. Thielen would be a lot lower for me.
Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough.
I'm not. I'm not.
Anyway,
I'm not chasing the points. They're not there. Like he said, it's the JJ Schloss show, dude. He's the one that gets all the targets. He's the one that gets the touchdowns.
yeah.
Thielen's
And I mentioned
uh,
this as well too.
bucket.
Hawkinson
He's
there
bucket.
is kind of eating into Thielen a little bit. But
Yeah,
again, with Njoku back, that's eating into DPJ a little bit. Um, there's cons,
and
pros
Njoku's
and
kind of
cons on
injured
both
though, isn't
sides.
he? Isn't he kind of injured? David Njoku.
He's dealing with some other thing besides his ankle that he was dealing with before. But yeah,
His oh, there it is. Knee injury is different than the one he
yeah,
missed.
it's a
Right,
different
is
one.
the time last week. We'll work through this week. Now loan them out for Sunday versus Texans. But yeah, would you say I'd rather go for the healthy guy versus the injured guy or whatever type thing and all that? I don't know. I
Right.
like BBJ, and not to beat a dead horse. So
We'll see. And then yeah, they're talking back and forth in there. Big Trev saying Jordan's giving some valid reasoning, but Thielen's still getting 7 to 8 targets per game, minus the Dallas game when Minute just struggled all around. Everybody kind of struggles against Dallas. So yeah, you kind of have to take those games with a grain of salt. It's just, what is he doing with those targets? And now that Hawkinson's back, we just almost that data is almost irrelevant now, and it's a very short sample size. So it's just hard to trust. At least you kind of know what you're getting with DPJ. But yeah, like you said, you could take the upside, more positive game script. Again, that's why I have him back to back, and I actually do have Thielen ahead. So I'm right there with you. But it's close. I literally have him
he's
back to
got him
back.
ahead by one.
I have him back to back. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Right.
Yeah, those are tough arguments. Wait, so start Justin Fields if he plays at all. Mariota is the backup. Uh, he may not finish the game. So, like you said, I'd rather just start the guy who we know is healthy. Mariota has a floor. Just hope some of the other guys kind of go off. I wouldn't really take my chances with that type of injury. Start Barkley no matter what. No matter what, though, right? Against a tough Washington defense. Yeah, you have to, especially in PPR. He has enough upside with catching passes. Negative game skip isn't going to phase him out. If anything, it could actually bring him more value. So, yeah. And yeah, saying flip a coin, literally, I have it like that. I mean, and I have them both outside my wide receiver 3, at 37 and 38, because it's that close. Like, you can't tell what's going to happen with them. I'd rather start other guys if I could. So I hate the fact that we can talk all day about it, but I have no idea what coaches and players will do. Yeah, I mean that's what we do anyway. That's what this whole channel's for, because none of us exactly know what's going to happen. We're just analyzing data and trying to predict the future, man. That's the fun in it. So we all are. Everyone who plays fantasy football is doing the same thing. You're making predictions when you draft. You're saying I think this guy over this guy, and nobody has any idea. we have no idea. We got Fu Yang in here. What's up, man? Welcome back. Jets or Bills defense rest of the season. I hate to get myself tied down to any kind of rest of the season, decisions. To me, defense is defense, and you stream, what's best. But for
And
me,
people like to stream defenses, so not the
yeah,
good
to
guy.
me, it's the Bills defense. It's
Although Jets are ranked higher right now.
but you got to take the Bill. I mean, it's the Bills defense. Their offense is defensive. Like their offense puts other offenses in negative game scripts, and when you have to pass, that means there's opportunity for sacks and picks and turnovers. So that's what you want. I mean, unless Mike White's the next Josh Allen. But until then, yeah, there it is. Jordan said, "Yep, that's true." So I think he was talking about how we're all just predicting the future over here. So he's agreeing with that. Jets have tough matchups. They do, but the other teams, they're saying that about other teams. They are the tough matchup for other teams as well too. Especially with Sauce Man when they can kind of eliminate one of their best threats. It's the great equalizer when you have a shutdown corner. Burks over Waddle. I'm done with Waddle. There's no way. I mean, Waddle has too much upside any given week. You show me one guy that's completely consistent. I think one of the top 3 wide receiver Devontae Adams has scored like 30-point games and scored 1-point games. Like no one's just going to score you 20 points every single game. I mean, Jay Jettas, you would argue number 1 wide receiver right now. He even has like a 3-point game this year. So no one's completely safe. You're playing a lot of floor with upside. Everybody's floor is potentially 0 if someone gets hurt or something like that. But for the most part, you play your guys that have potential scoring 20, 30 points if you can. That type of ceiling. I don't think Burks is there yet. It's not a pass heavy enough offense. What do you say?
Really? These done been pretty good, man.
He's doing all right. It's like a
I'm
poor
gonna
man's
try
Mike
that.
Evans. He's like a poor man's Mike Evans. I'm not starting him over Waddle right now. Plus, Henry has some great matchups coming up. They're just going to give him the ball. He's going to feast. They got Houston coming up. He always goes for 202 touchdowns. He's like 4 straight games doing that against Houston. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, I
yeah.
love hearing that because I got Henry.
Yeah, so do I. So yeah, Jordan's saying the same thing. What, Burks over
I'm going
Waddle?
back to the
No way.
Jets thing. I was just looking at the schedules. I'm
Go
still
ahead.
sticking with the Jets. The rest of the
Perfect.
season, just to go with that one.
Not over the Bills. I can't do
I can. They're play better. They score more
it. Jordan's saying
points.
it's
Are there,
great to
man?
see you guys agree to disagree a bit because it's better than just blindly agreeing. Yeah, we're actually more surprised when we do agree.
Yeah.
Like that's why Frank and I are like best friends is because we can like argue about anything
Yeah.
and
We'll be
just
fine.
even just
We're
to
like,
argue,
whatever.
just to take the
Yeah.
other side, just because we try to change each other's mind.
Oh yeah.
That's just something we try to do.
We try to do often.
Um,
Exactly. Like, can I get him on my side?
yeah, can I
That's
get
what's
him? Can I just talk him over to this? We're both sales guys. We both worked at the same companies,
yeah.
like for almost 10 years in a row at one
Yeah.
point in our lives. So we're just we're pretty competitive when it comes to that kind of stuff. Again, this is part of the reason why we started this channel, man.
So
This is why we
convincing
did it.
you that I'm right is the right thing to
Yeah,
do, no matter if I'm wrong.
and it's funny because we both have the belts in our two main leagues. So
Right?
and that's
That
the
tells you
thumbnail
that
that
should
you
tell you
guys
something,
see.
right?
Yeah, that's the thumbnail that you guys see us with the belts. That's the real deal right there. So anyway, we digress. Fu Young saying Tila or Gino. Both have good matchups. I kind of like Trevor Lawrence against the Lions. We were just kind of talking about that. Giving up the third most points to quarterbacks this year. He's been looking pretty good lately. Especially if ETN's a little more banged up and not as explosive as he could be. Maybe a little more gets put on his shoulders. Zay Jones been looking good lately. We obviously know what Christian Kirk's capable of. Um, I do like Trevor Lawrence here. But Gino's been playing well too. He's going up against the Rams, who are minus Aaron Donald, so you're not going to get that pressure up the middle, dealing with that high ankle sprain. And their offense is pretty much depleted.
Yeah, and they're
Um,
like nobody over there in Rams.
yeah, so it's kind of like, what are they really playing for? They got no Cup, they got no Allen Robinson. Wolford's kind of banged up, didn't play. They were on their third string quarterback.
Which
It could
means
just
that
be
the
a
is
could
gonna
be a
be
Ken
going
Walker
in and
game,
out,
man.
in and out often, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
literally.
could just be a Ken Walker game, man. They might just, keep going three and out. Pete Carroll loves to just run the ball down someone's throat when that defense has to keep going out there when that offense can't, sustain drives. Um, it could just be deflating, and they might just again just run, kind of all over them. I think Detroit has the firepower on the offensive side to keep up with Jacksonville, so
Yeah.
I think there's a potential shootout,
I like
opportunity
Geno.
there.
I like Geno though.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like him too. I just think it could be a bad game script this week for
It
him.
could be,
So
right? Yeah. I
yeah,
could
so
just be here
I'll lean
saying they just
Trevor
run the
Lawrence.
ball. But I think that's
Yeah,
just so easy against the Rams now that it just you gotta go with it.
yeah, and again, no Aaron Donald is huge.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm
we're
saying. If
talking the
Aaron Donald
best
was still
player in
there,
football.
I would
Yeah, it'd
not
be a
be,
little
like, saying
different.
that.
Yeah,
I would not even
it'd be a
say
little
that.
different. Yeah, it'd
I'm
be a
like,
little
"No, they
closer.
still got a good defense." Like, I wouldn't mess with that at all.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
but yeah, I just think if they can establish the middle, and the Seattle defense have been playing well lately too. So, actually, I picked up Seattle defense to play against the Rams this week, talking about rest of the season defenses. But yeah,
Oh, there
how I was saying the
you go.
Bills' offense is defensive. The Rams' offense is not defensive.
Yeah.
Their defense needs some help. So, Fu
Oh,
Yang saying, who's going to win, Miami or the Niners? Of course, the Niners are going to win, man. How you ask me a question like
this
that?
guy don't have his hat on today, that's why,
Oh,
you
I don't
know?
have my hat on today. Yeah, I'm a Niners fan, man. So you could just pencil me in or pin me in, tattoo me in for the Niners are winning against
I think
whoever we
this is a
play.
very difficult matchup for them. Their offense is, pretty good over there in Miami. The defense is not shabby, and the 49ers have, some people banged up, so we'll see how it goes. Let's see if,
Should
CMC
be a good
actually
game.
plays. Debo's still dealing with some things, and, uh, our buddy there has been struggling. Help me out. Your quarterback.
Who, Jimmy G?
Yeah, Jimmy G's been struggling, man. He didn't have the
He's
last game
been
wasn't
going the other way. He was
it
just like a
wasn't
top four QB. Remember, we just gave him a game ball.
yeah, well, the one game, but how did it go last game? That's what I'm saying.
We did all right. We won. All right. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
We appreciate it though, but of course, I gotta take my Niners in that one. I don't think Frank can go for the Niners. I think he's
I'll
gonna say
never go for the
Miami.
Niners. You're never gonna get me say to that. No.
Exactly.
Yeah, how did he
I,
do
li-
last game? 13 points, dude, like I said.
yeah.
And now he's
Um.
facing Miami, and that was against New Orleans that they were whooping on.
Yeah. That's right.
right? Didn't you guys whoop
Yeah.
on New Orleans, and then he still only ended up with 13 points. Now they're facing Miami,
Was
which is a tougher defense. I
yeah.
don't know. I'm going
Miami's
Miami.
not a tougher defense.
Better
I'm just worried
team.
about CMC being banged up and Debo banged up.
Yeah, I'm worried
We
about
just need to get
CMC.
out of that game healthy. We'll see. All right, so we'll move on. So I think where we left off was the Debo news. We kind of came full circle back around on that.
Right?
Other RB news, and we'll just kind of fly through the rest of this and get out of here. Unless anybody else, of course, has any questions, feel free to bring them in the chat. We got the Raiders running back Josh Jacobs. He's not expected to practice much, if at all, this week because of that calf strain he was dealing with last game. Remember, he was a late addition, was questionable for the game, and then went out and had basically a career day.
Yeah,
They
right.
didn't even want to play him in the game, and then he still played and ended up running that 86-yard or whatever it was touchdown to
Yeah.
ice the game. But
And
they're saying he's going to get around the clock treatment in hopes of playing on Sunday against the Chargers, who have the worst run defense. So Josh Jacobs owners are hoping he gets that
he
treatment
that's
right
right. Yeah.
because they want this matchup, man. So
Doesn't get
let's
sweeter
see
than that.
who's got more belt wins on the both of you. I've won the belt 2 out of the last 3 years, and so have you, right? We're
Yeah.
tied ever since
Tied
we
right
got the belts. So, yeah, money's on Frank the champ. So we're
Yeah.
actually tied.
We're actually tied out right now.
We're tied right
That's kinda
now.
crazy.
Overall wins, I think I have 2
I think
more
Anthony
overall
does.
wins than him, and I definitely have more top 3 finishes than you for sure.
Yeah.
Frank's had some bad luck in these leagues. His luck's just barely turned around lately in these leagues. He's been the commissioner the whole time, and just he's been like me, kind of where he gets like second, third most points, but just gets those bad matchups and
I'm the
or
guy
just
that's
will get screwed in the
picks up Gronk,
playoffs.
and Gronk doesn't play the whole year.
Yeah, or no, when Gronk like goes out like in the playoffs and you lose like after
Yeah,
doing good the whole year and all that stuff. Yeah, so
yeah.
he's just had
I've
some
had
bad
some terrible luck.
some just bad run there. So yeah. So but yeah, recently we're tied.
Yeah.
He's back to back champ right now, and I've won 2 out of the last 3. So and I'm in line in first place in that same league to
To
go
come back.
back to
Yeah,
back
come back. Yeah.
this year and 3 out of the last 4. So that would be a nice accomplishment
I'm in
there. So I'm
line in
pretty
that league
excited.
too. I think I'm gonna take him down. He got lucky on me last week.
Yeah, we played each other last week in a
and you
potential
and you
in
squeaked
Frank's
one out,
Super Bowl, and I squeaked
Yeah.
one out on him. I did. I
Yeah.
really did actually. And I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
take
It is
it.
what it is. Ain't no lie. You won, you won.
I finally got a break, so
Right?
I can't never say never anymore. All right, so yeah, so definitely keep an eye on the Josh Jacobs news. Like you said, don't expect much throughout the week. It'll probably be a game time decision on how he feels that day and whatever treatment he can get. Running back Travis Etienne, obviously dealing with that foot injury. They said he was cleared and could have come back to that game, but they out of caution held him out. Which,
Yeah,
as an
yeah,
Etienne
smart.
owner in both dynasty and redraft, thank goodness, I'm happy with that. Survived my guillotine league that I had him and McCaffrey in, who both got banged up and scored me a total of 5.1. But my
Rough.
IDPs held me in that one, and I'm still going. So it's top 6 now in the guillotine league. So represent and get right strong. Shout out to the Dynasty Pylon. So yeah, so ETN, keep an eye on him, which means obviously Jermichael Hasty. Don't forget they did sign
Yeah, big
Darrell
loss.
Henderson. Remember he's there. Should be practicing this whole week.
That was
So
weird
again,
when they let go Henderson, right? Hendo? And
yeah,
then
that
he
was
started
weird.
the whole season strong for them and everything, and it was like, "Oh, Hendo's the guy," and
Not really. No, they
no?
didn't want to give it to him. Yeah, we could do a whole other
Just
show on
whole
that.
nother show on that part, right?
Yeah,
I just thought it was really weird that they just all of a sudden he came out and he's gone.
yeah. So on the same team, Zay Jones dealing with the chest injury. Both Etienne and Jones were limited, but both are expected to play. Joe Mixon was limited today in practice, but he's out there, still in the concussion protocol. Hopes to get cleared by Sunday, but he is trending in the right direction. We have big news out of Baltimore. Running back J.K. Dobbins is designated to return from the IR. He practiced today, so keep your eye on that. Same with Gus Edwards, so they might get their running backs back. Jalen Warren for the Pittsburgh Steelers was a full practice participant today. Najee was a DNP. His status is up in the air. They're saying he'll be reevaluated as the week goes on, but they're saying he didn't suffer any significant injury. So no significant injury is good news out of Pittsburgh. So, but they are expecting him to be out a week or 2 from kind of what
Yeah,
I've
but
heard.
are you starting Warren or who was it?
Definitely starting Warren.
The other guy that came in
Benny
there?
Snell.
Yeah, Benny Snell, because he was the like the hot hand last week, kind of like because I think I just obviously because Warren got injured also, but I think people picked up Benny Snell just to see what happens, right?
Yeah. So I mean, they did, but we were kind of saying on Monday. At least I know I was. To me, it was going to be Warren. I wasn't wasting my money or anything on Snell. Um, I was. They said what's his name was close last week. Warren was close last week, but they held him out. So
Yeah,
yeah, he's definitely coming back this
yeah.
week, and he'll
I
get the
have
majority of the
Warren
touches.
at somewhere or something.
Rafi,
Rafi
what's up,
Long
brother?
Plaza. What's up, man? What's up?
How's it going, man? So we do got a couple other questions coming in, so let's take those and then we'll finish out with the news. We got Dan in here. What's up, Dan? Saying I traded Godwin and Pittman for CD. He still has Evans and DK, so I was never starting Pittman. So I don't hate that because you split up Godwin and Evans. The way things have been going, I probably would have preferred to keep Godwin, especially if it's PPR over Evans right now. If it was standard, I like keeping Evans. And definitely getting CDs is an upgrade. I
That's
mean,
an
we've kind
upgrade.
of seen his floor, but we've also seen, what his ceiling could be as well too.
I
But
don't
yeah, it
think
was
we've
a little.
actually seen his ceiling. I think
I
he's
mean,
getting
when
better
he
and better,
scored 30 points, I mean, you would say that's a ceiling, man.
right?
Uh,
Yeah, I think he get a little bit
that's
more.
about
Edge
that's
out 10
nah,
more.
that's a
Give him a
that's
40
that's
point
that's
week,
pretty
40
good.
burger.
Aye, aye, aye. That's good enough.
All right.
But the problem is when Dallas scored 48 points total, he didn't have a good game.
That's crazy, right? That was kind of weird.
That's the tough part. That was all Pollard and Zeke show and that whole drama in the backfield. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I would grade this trade like a solid B plus, man.
for sure. I like it.
Yeah. So well done. Yeah, because Pittman's kind of a question mark there, and
I
he's going up
scored two
against
touchdowns all year, and it was
someone good this week.
so sad to see him wasted as a drop passes every week. Yeah,
Yeah, and then when they put Ellinger in, I mean, that was brutal. He just lost all his value, if anything. I like him in Dynasty, so he's a hold for me in Dynasty. He's still young. They could get a quarterback in there and,
I
turn it
have
on right
him.
away.
It's
So,
just a debacle. So yeah,
yeah, exactly. You couldn't have said it better myself. I was high on Pittman this year, but the Colts offense is garbage. So,
yeah.
absolutely agree. Few Yang in here. Yang, is it Yang or Yan?
Young.
Gotta help me
It's
out
an
on that.
A.
Do you actually pronounce it?
I don't
It's
know.
probably something totally different. But either way, Jeff Wilson over ETN this week? Nah. You got Wilson going against that Niners defense, man. You don't want none of that.
No.
I think he's trolling me right now. I think he's trolling me.
Yeah,
He must be a Miami fan.
but Jonathan likes Etienne.
Yeah. So I'm saying ETN for sure. And again, what's up, Rafi? All right. So keep the questions coming if you have them, or be on here for a few more minutes. And yeah, we'll just get through some of the rest of the news and notes here. So yeah, again, stop me if you want to talk about anything here, or else I'll keep rolling through. Um, Michael Carter, we kind of talked about it earlier, dealing with that low ankle. They're going to give it a try for this week, and he's considered day to day. Antonio Gibson, who got banged up last game, he was limited today. Cam Akers didn't practice today because of an illness, so no injury, but just illness. I mean, I'm pretty much staying away from all Rams players anyway at this point. And then speaking of
So no
Fu
Van
Yang in
Jefferson.
here, yeah, I'm not touching anybody, man.
Nobody
In
over
that
there, huh?
offense, it's three and
Yeah,
out,
it's,
3 and out, 3 and out. Like we're not. I'm not dealing with that.
yeah.
Mostert's availability. I think he could have played versus Houston, and if we had adhered to his hopes and desires, he might have played last week. It was just too risky to what he means to the team. So he should be ready to go this week. So we'll see if this is just coach speak. You know, obviously Mostert and Wilson have played together before, so I'm not worried about, kind of any jealousy type thing or anything like that. They're
Yeah,
familiar with
they
this
know the deal.
offense.
Yeah.
They've been together. They know what the deal is. Um, and I think they both just want to do the best, and they feel like they have a chance to win it all this year with the pieces they have around them. So I think they're going to try to keep both guys healthy. They'll use Mostert as a change of pace type guy. I mean, he has that speed. So again, hold off Jeff Wilson just a bit, and it was kind of a little disappointing with him going up against Houston. I mean, he did get banged up for a little while, but didn't have that big of a game last week with no Mostert, and again going up against Houston. So kind
And
of a
you
little
thought,
letdown.
yeah, you thought he was going to be, having the back
Yeah,
and get you all the points, but it was not the case.
didn't
So
work out. Yeah, liked
sometimes,
him in DFS, didn't
yeah,
work out.
sometimes it's better to have him as a, you know, uh, RB, running back by committee situation. Sometimes some players thrive there better than not.
Yeah.
They're not an
Well,
every
because
down back.
they stay fresh. Yeah, they stay
Yeah,
fresh.
not an every down
So
back. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're taking less hits throughout the game. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up running backs. Moving on to wide receivers, big news in wide receiver land. Jamar Chase says he's preparing to play this week. We'll see how I feel later in the week, but I'm planning to take some reps. So sounds like he's going to try to give it a go to practice this week. So stay tuned. I'm sure it'll go right up until game time decision, just like last week. But it looks like he's getting closer. Things are
So you're
feeling
gonna
good,
fire him
and
up if he plays?
oh, if he plays, you gotta put him in
You
there.
gotta
Man.
do
He
it.
can
You
have
gotta
2
do it.
catches and 2 touchdowns, and from
Yeah.
50 yards
I'm
out. I mean,
always worried though
he
because
just
it's
has
been a
that
while.
potential. There's few people like normally. I'm always like, let's see what they do when they first come back. Joe Burrow loves Jamar Chase, man. He's going to want to get him back in right away. Such a spark plug for that offense. He brings that swagger to that offense. Like they're going to get him involved. And it'll be deep shots and stuff like that. I don't think they're going to like do anything crazy to get him hit or anything like right away. He could play a little decoy, but I'll take 4 or 5 targets to Jamar Chase because there should be good quality ones. And he just probably his snap share will be down, but I just don't think they play him on obvious running situations. There's just no reason to have him on the field blocking. There's no reason for that. So,
Right.
but I think he'll still have a good routes run on drop back. So, um, but I'm a huge Chase fan. So take that with a grain of salt. All right. Mike Williams. He's a DNP this week, still dealing with that ankle issue that he re-aggravated when he tried to come back too early from that high ankle. So may not get him until the playoffs, and then it's going to be interesting, to even try to start him if you're in the playoffs. You almost want to see a game first, or you might have to just kind of walk the plank and throw him in there one day, when he's coming back. So that's going to be a tough one. Juju Smith-Schuster missed practice with an illness. Jerick McKinnon and Kadarius Toney dealing with hamstring injuries. They didn't practice today either. Devonta Smith, they just kind of had a walkthrough, but he was considered limited dealing with a groin issue. Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler did not practice today, so we'll see if Jeudy can make it back or not. We talked about Romeo Doubs already. We kind of talked about Njoku dealing with that knee injury that's
Yeah.
different than the one he missed practice time with last week.
Yeah. Went over
So
that.
he's going to work through it. Yep, not ruling him out for Sunday. Dallas Goedert. If you have a spot to stash Dallas Goedert, his plan is to come back after his 4-game IR stint. So you can get him back for one of the last 2 games. Again, just a nice tight end to be able to throw in your lineup at this point. And Brian Dable saying he's optimistic about Daniel Bellinger coming back for Sunday. So if you guys remember, he was out on IR. He broke his eye socket, like had his eye socket shattered and had surgery and stuff on it. So he's expected to come
He's
back.
coming back.
Yeah, and
I
then
guess we do
Kyle
hope.
Pitts. Yeah, Kyle Pitts out for the year, man. Yeah, it was crazy. Someone like poked him in through like the face mask and like shattered his thing. Yeah, it was crazy.
That wasn't a poke. They were stabbing him.
Yeah, something got him good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Come on. That's not a poke.
right. And the last of the tight end news, man. Kyle Pitts, he's out for the year. So he's having surgery, and he's donezo. So no mas Kyle Pitts, which means I think you officially win the Taysom Hill bet.
Yeah. No matter what, now it's locked in.
Well, he got hurt, so did we? Well, I technically conceded to you after like week 3 when he went off.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think
And
Pitts would even
Taysom
score
still
that
has
much
gotten a
anymore.
couple more touchdowns and whatnot.
Since then,
Yeah.
I think he scored more touchdowns than Pitts, so I think he just wins with that alone.
Just that alone, right?
So yeah, so Kyle Pitts total dud. What are you drinking, Rasta? Oh, it's my birthday week, man. It was my birthday on Monday. So I'm still enjoying my bottle of Jameson and Coke. So that's my favorite drink of choice. I love me some Jameson, some Irish whiskey. So salute.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Rafi. I have Swift, and it's been an ugly go about it. And hopefully, now that he's full on healthy, it'll help, and especially like you're saying in the passing game. But Williams is there. He's not. He's got a good share of that. So I'm not thinking he's going anywhere. What do you think, Ant?
Yeah, I don't think you can comfortably start Swift at this point, not even as an upside play. Like, I'd rather play Brian Robinson. I'd rather play Zonovan Knight over Swift this week. I mean, with Carter like banged up, I think he might get more opportunities than Swift. Obviously, Swift has the opportunity to take any ball to the house anytime he touches it. He is an explosive player. if he is fully healthy, but I think they're trying to keep him healthy. Um, they're still technically in it, right? Or are they officially out of the playoff run?
I think
So
they're
it's just
technically sort of in it. I
it's
don't know.
just one of those weird, situations. I mean, you want to see him bounce back, and hopefully,
I'm
he
not
has 2
starting him
games
with
to do it.
confidence till I see him do it, because all he's been scoring is 5 points, 5 points,
Yeah,
5 points, and I know
you,
this because I have him. So
yeah, not even in like PPR, like, and that's what's crazy. So,
yeah,
and then yeah, his
got another
counterpart
one
is
right here.
leading the league in touchdown.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't think
Thoughts
they're
on
gonna
commit
change that.
with Fields hurt, but also should have massive targets with Mooney gone and Claypool banged up. Um,
I wouldn't start commit with confidence.
there's
Fields
other
was really
players
helping
out
him.
there. Yeah, I mean, there's other players out there. I guess you'd have to let me know who else you have access to, but there's guys on a weekly basis that I would maybe play over commit at this point until we kind of see some type of consistency there. I mean, if Simeon plays, it's a little better, but again, he's dealing with that oblique. I don't even know what his numbers were this year, just without Justin Fields playing. I don't think I watched much of that Chicago game.
Yeah.
It's why watch.
Oh, I watched and it was not good.
Okay, I believe you. I believe you. I'll take your word on
So yeah,
that.
I would wait till Fields comes back. I'm waiting for Fields comes back. The whole team's basically dependent on that kid now. You know what I mean? Like he's actually put the team on his back and shown that he could do it and carry the team and actually get some wins over there. So it's got to be him or nobody.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's tough, man. Like you're saying, it's because the backup QBs check down to the tight end with their short routes. Yeah, but I mean, if they're going 3 and out and they can't move the ball, it's not gonna do anything. Like I'd rather go after somebody else. Like I'd rather take a shot with like Austin Hooper or Hayden Hurst or Tyler Conklin even. Commit versus Ingram. Yeah, even Ingram. I'd rather have Ingram than commit at this point. Um, bunch of the tight end horse in some of these leagues. Yeah, everyone's just stashing everybody because they don't know who
Yeah,
to play
yeah.
every
They
week.
just want
So
to have the
just leave
choice of
them
who
all
do
out
I
there.
start.
Yeah, just leave
Yeah,
them out there, man. That's just stream the tight end. Yeah, then you got like Moreau out there. I'd rather have Foster Moreau than
yeah. Njoku,
uh. Well, no, I'd take Njoku as
take
long as he's
Njoku.
healthy and they say he's playing with this knee injury. I'm taking Njoku over Moreau. Moreau
Yeah,
just got lucky last game.
yeah. Well, he's getting the legs. Maybe it'll improve from there. Something to build on.
That ball's going to Adams.
So there you go. Definitely no Njoku over Moreau, but maybe Moreau over Komet. How's that?
Yeah, Moreau over Komet for sure. That's someone I would play him over. Because again, at least they're like David. David. Derek Carr's a little competent. And whenever
Yeah,
I'm with you, I have to call him David. All
right.
right, so
Dude, it's a car.
yeah, it's part of the cars. All right, so that's it, man. So that's all I have for you guys this week, man. Really appreciate it, man. How old are you? I'm almost 40, man. I just turned 38, so
I refuse to say
appreciate it. Yeah.
it.
So, and
I'm
that's
right
it. It
there with
is,
that.
man. The drink's empty, so that means the show's over. Got to go
Right.
get a refill. But no, man, really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us tonight. Again, remember to make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you're already subscribed, hit that like button. Happy B-Day. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Thank you. So tell some people about us, man. We're doing that Gabe Davis jersey giveaway when we hit 600 subscribers. We only have a handful left. So make sure you guys go check them out or check us out and have your friends come check us out and hit that subscribe button for us, man, so we can get that done. Also want to give a big shout out. You got it ready to our partner channels here. The guys went live earlier today with the Check Down podcast. The other one, the big one. Boom.
Oh, you want
There
to
you
do
go.
it? Oh, I'll get there.
Oh, there you go.
I had
So
that
you got
one.
the Check Down podcast with Cody Mogotes. Go ahead, throw it up.
Oh, now I
With
lost it. Okay, here we go.
I got you. There we go. Oh, see, we did it again. We're terrible. See, the drink's empty. That's how you guys know
Right.
it's time for
That's
me
how
to
you
get
know.
off the air before I
Time to
do
get
anything silly.
off.
Uh, we got Cody McGoats, man, and Shirtless Pat and the fellas over there on the Check Down podcast. Make sure you check them out. They're live on Wednesdays at 5:30. They also do, I believe, a watch party sometimes on Mondays.
Yeah.
So check them out. You can find them here on Get Right Fantasy Network, but make sure you go subscribe to their channel as well. Throw those notifications on so you see when they come live. Also, check out our guy Colin over at WAGMI Fantasy. WAGMI stands for We're All Gonna Make It. So that's what it's all about, man. He comes out with an awesome newsletter every week called Winning with WAGMI. gives you his trade targets, start sit, waiver wire ad, priority guys, all you need in one newsletter. It's free, so make sure you go there and sign up. And then our boys, Tim and AJ, they just dropped their recording from the Fantasy Frontline podcast. They just dropped it, so make sure you go check out their new episode, their Week 12 recap and review. And then again, make sure you turn those notifications on and check them out too. So when you catch them live, or go hop in the comments, man, let them know you're here, you're supporting them. Let them know you came from Get Right, man. And again, support them, hit that subscribe button for all of us, man. Because again, just like Colin says, we're all going to make it. So we appreciate it, man. So unless you have anything else, Frank, anything you want to mention before we get out of here, man?
No, I don't have Twitter. I got back off.
Oh yeah, Frank doesn't do the Twitter. But we can get any messages you want to send directly to Frank. Just send it to @GetRightFantasy. That's our show Twitter. It's on there right here. Right in this big box right here with the little tweet bird @GetRightFantasy. Just address it to Frank. We'll copy and paste it, text it to him in our text chain,
or hit us up
so you can get his response.
Sleeper channel.
But yeah, he's also on Sleeper. Yeah, if you get in there, it's right in the description. Hit that link there. So yeah, man, great show, pimps. Happy birthday for you fucking stud. All right, appreciate it, Rafi. Appreciate it, man. Earning my grays. I had to shave them off, so trying to look a little younger here.
Right.
So I don't have the hat on. Finally cut the hair. But you guys see, it's like my forehead goes all the way back to here now. But that's okay.
Now.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm still doing okay for 40. Yeah, right? Well, it was the braids even when I was younger. That's what got me good. But yes, there are pictures of me with cornrows out there, you guys.
Right.
Either way, man, that was a long time ago. We got it. All right, man. I can sit here and talk with you all night, man. But again, we appreciate it, man. He says, I look a year younger. So, hey, appreciate that. We got everyone's popping in now, man. Everyone's going now. Cadillac saying, what's up right when we're out. Look, we got Ray in here. Everyone's popping in now. You're going down this week versus me. I know you want revenge. Yeah, man. So I'm going, and I need the win this week. Yeah, and last week was a brutal loss. Everyone needs a win. So, yeah. So good luck to everybody out there except for Raymond, where he's playing me this week. Gotta say it, man. But now, man, he's a force to be reckoned with, man, in both leagues. So he's right there with me. Yeah, game, for sure. It seems like he and I are just on a collision course here for the championship. So, and he has the upper hand on me, man. So we'll see how it pulls out. I got my secret weapon in Jameson
I don't feel
Williams.
as comfortable at the top. I feel like at the top you've already rolled out too many good games.
No, now that we got the bye week this week, because we used to play an 8-team playoff. We changed it back to 6. So now the first and second place team get the bye week. So there's something to play for now. Yeah. So I'm trying to get back in that first and second place, man. I'd rather not play week.
That's why I got rid of it. But then again, people want that bye week, and I just feel like that's when you have that high scoring game that you didn't play anybody with, and you do your wad. Now you're coming back and you're like,
but you're guaranteed to go in the you're guaranteed to win 2 games to win it all. So. But yeah, sometimes you feel like you need those points going into that next game.
Win 3 to win it all.
That was my argument when we went to 8. You know, if you're going to be a champion, you need to win 3 games in a row. But it's neither here nor there. I guess getting first and second place is pretty hard. Yeah. So I tried really hard this year, and I did it in 1. I'm in 5th place in the other. Most points scored. Crazy. But yeah, see, I got my secret weapon coming off the bench here, Jameson Williams, coming soon. So again, make sure you stash him.
When honestly, Jameson comes back, then play him over DPJ.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once you see what he does, just his potential's through the roof. We don't know. He could dud out. He could be like Kadarius Toney and Godwin, all these other people when they came back. J.K. Dobbins and get a hamstring as soon as he comes back. So again, I mean, you probably need the safe choice in DPJ if you're looking for floor. But if you want some ceiling, then give me some Jameson Williams, man, all day. So there it is. Could Debo be back? Debo's playing, man. Debo's a stub. He'll be there. So don't worry about him. Tune in on Friday. All right, man. We're out of here. We just had to acknowledge the peeps now that everybody's rolling in. But yeah, man. So again, just go back, watch it, man. We went through all the stuff. We did our start sit for Thursday night game. Talked about all the injuries and guys and pickups. Had some questions in the chat. So go back and check it out if you're just joining us now. And again, you guys always know you can hit us up directly with any questions in the sleeper community. Start a thread.
Subscribe. We need the likes. We need the subscribes.
We need it, man. We're almost there. Help us get to 600. All right, man. So other than that, again, for myself, for Frank, for Classic Mike, and for Dustin, we're Get Right Fantasy Network, man. We'll see you guys on Friday. Peace out.